Hey, what's up, coach, and welcome to this very special masterclass on the law of the squirrel. What on earth is the law of the squirrel? I'm sure you might be asking, and how does it affect my business? Well, simply put, if you are still struggling to get your first 10 clients, or perhaps even you're still struggling to get that first online client, what we want to do is identify what is the barrier, what is the obstacle, what is that very specific thing that is actually holding you back, because you'll hear voices from all different directions. Well, it's your tactics, it's your strategy, it's your mindset, it's your this or your that. Everybody's got a different idea about what is that limiting factor that is keeping you stuck right where it's at. Now, the law of the squirrel is going to help us identify what is that hidden barrier. What is that thing that's affecting your business, that's causing you to stagnate, that's preventing you from growing? What is that hidden barrier that you're not noticing? And the reason why this one is so critical is because most coaches, most online entrepreneurs miss this one completely because it's so insidious. It just creeps in where you least expect it, and it just sits there. And it's affecting you right now on a daily basis, and you probably haven't even noticed it yet. Now, the law of the squirrel is going to help you uncover what that hidden barrier is so that you can now move forward in your business. Now, I'll admit up front, I've fallen prey to this one. I still do to this day. That's how insidious it is, because it just keeps coming back. And unless you're constantly aware of it, it will, on an ongoing basis, it will prevent you from growing. It will long-term become your limit to scale, meaning it will prevent your business from growing and thriving and prevent you from creating that freedom lifestyle that you started this coaching business for in the first place, right? So kick us off to help clarify exactly what I mean by the law of the squirrel, what it is, and how it's going to influence your business. Simple quote here: there will always be more good ideas than there is capacity to execute. Now, not only is this an incredible truth, but it fully encapsulates the law of the squirrel. So when I say the law of the squirrel, I mean our tendency to just like, boo, 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 like get distracted by all the shiny, some people call it shiny object syndrome, right? Get distracted by this new thing, and now I'm distracted by this new thing, and now I'm distracted by this new thing. But I haven't taken the time to focus on any one specific thing that will actually move my business forward. Instead, I'm always looking for the next good idea, but the reality is there's always going to be a ton of good ideas, and there's always going to be a ton of good ideas that are immediately available to you in this moment right here today. So there might be 10 good ideas available to you right now, but you only have the capacity to execute on maybe one or two of those good ideas. So the first step in not only understanding the law of the squirrel, but applying it to your life is acknowledging, is recognizing that right now where you're at, you have any number of good ideas that are available to you, and you could choose any single one of them. So the question then becomes, well, how do I differentiate, and how do I determine which of those ideas are going to be the idea for me? Now, let's move on here. You are the air traffic controller of your business. What do I mean by that? Well, simply put, if you think about an airport, there's the pilot in the plane, right? And he's flying around and he's got his limited perspective. He's concerned about his plane with all of his passengers inside of it. But the air traffic controller has a much bigger perspective. The air traffic controller can see, hey, there's 50 planes flying all around at any given time, and in order to prevent a massive crash and a loss of hundreds, if not thousands of lives, the air traffic controller has to go, that one plane right now is the one plane that I have to get from in the air down onto the runway safely. So as the air traffic controller, you then turn your complete focus and attention to that one airplane. Yes, you have to be aware of everything that's happening, But when you turn your focus and attention to just one airplane at a time, you prevent massive loss of life. That is what it's like for you to run your business. You are the air traffic controller of your business, meaning that here's all these airplanes, here's all these good ideas, here's all these activities that you could be doing right now. But the question becomes, what is the one plane that you need to focus on immediately based on your circumstance so that you can safely land it, meaning so that you can execute on that good idea so that your business can actually move forward. Now, depending on the context of your business, it could be any number of things, right? It could be, hey, maybe there's something wrong with my sales process. Maybe that's why I'm not getting the revenue that I want. It could be, hey, maybe actually it's part of my lead generation strategy. Maybe I'm not putting enough effort specifically into that. Maybe it is a content issue. Maybe you're not putting out enough quality content. But the point is, if you're willing to focus just on one and get real and ask yourself, well, which is it in my business? What's the one thing that I need to focus on to bring that plane in for a landing before I get dominated by the squirrel mentality, right? And just like looking at everything. Because if you're the air traffic controller and you're trying to coordinate and trying to land all 50 planes at once, massive casualties, right? Instead, narrowing down laser-like focus. Creative focus equals more energy plus fewer goals. Now, I know that might seem counterintuitive. You think, well, I need to have lots of goals. I need to have big goals. I need to know where I'm going. Yes, you need to have the big picture perspective. But within that, if you're going to have creative focus in your business and know exactly what you need to do at any given time, you have to be willing to put more energy into fewer goals, fewer activities at a time. When you're able to narrow your focus and adopt that air traffic controller mentality, then the law of the squirrel ceases to be your limiting factor in your business, because now you're not flighty all over the place trying to figure out what's going on. Now you've got one focus, one action plan that will move your business forward. So, we want to make this practical, right? I want to give you one action step for today. So first of all, I'm assuming that you've got a priority list, that you've got a list of actions that you're implementing on, right? If you don't, let's start there. Every day you should have, here is my task list that will help with pushing my business forward, okay? If you don't have your actions listed out, saying, here's my priority actions for today, 1, 2, 3, bop, bop, bop. Here's the big rocks, here's the little details that I need to be working on. Start there, okay? But then the question that you have to ask yourself every single time that you're creating these priority action lists is, will today's actions, this is how you crush the law of the squirrel, look only at today's actions. Will today's actions remove the squirrel within, right? So will today's action actually give me that creative focus that I need? And will today's action land the one plane I need most right now? So when you've identified what is that one thing that I actually need to land this plane, will today's actions, take a look at your list, here's my priority actions, will today's actions actually remove that squirrel within? Will it stop me from looking all over the place? Get me to focus on the one thing? And will today's actions actually move that needle forward and help me with the one thing? Let me give you one practical example, because depending on what your need is at the moment, it could be any number of things, but let me give you one practical example. This is the one I probably see most often. Is I'm working on my business, I'm working on the business. All of a sudden I go, oh no, I'm not going to hit my I'm not going to hit my revenue goal. But what were you working on? Perhaps it was a lot of content, but did that content actually contribute to new phone calls on your schedule so that you could enroll someone into your program? So now you rewire it. You go, okay, I had on my priority list, I was going to do this Facebook Live, and I was going to make this video, and I was going to update this in my course curriculum, whatever it may be. But right now, today, that could not be, that might not be the thing that's going to move your business forward. Instead, you say, okay, if my problem now is getting some revenue through the door, now I've got to stop looking at all 50 planes. I've got to focus on that one plane, getting new revenue in the door, getting that one client now. Well, what's the pathway to that? Well, I need to go back to my two-step prospecting. I need to go back to my organic reach. I need to go back to connecting with people, to getting in Messenger, connecting with people, booking those calls, that sort of thing, right? So now by narrowing your focus, laser-like focus, you're able to do the one thing that moves your business forward. Now, for me, early on, I recognized this right away because as I was trying to launch this business full-time, I realized if I'm going to do this thing full-time, I have to get cash flow through the door immediately. So my priority is not to spend 50 hours a week creating course content. Like, yes, I need to do that eventually, but right now in the moment, my priority is getting in Messenger, connecting with people on social media, talking to them about what they're struggling with, evaluating legitimately whether or not I can help, and then having a conversation around that and then actually enrolling them and getting cash flow through the door. At the time when I was just launching, that's what I needed immediately. And when I got that, I was able to take a deep breath, collect my thoughts, landed that plane, right? Okay, I enrolled 2 people this month. That's my first month. That's pretty good. Great, I got some cash in the door. I can take a deep breath, I can relax. Now I'm the air traffic controller, I can look at the next plane. And that next plane is course content. That next plane is developing my online brand. That next plane is getting my website up and running, whatever it might be. The point is, only by focusing on that one plane at a time, bringing it in for a landing, avoiding the impact of the law of the squirrel that prevents me from developing that creative focus, will you be able to actually move your business forward. So here's what I've got for you. I want you to just ask yourself one powerful question so that you can evaluate if you are taking the right actions right now. It's a version of this, okay? Remember, we said, will today's actions remove the squirrel within and land the one plane I need most right now? So for you right now, the question you've got to ask yourself is, am I doing the thing, the one thing, am I doing the one thing that's actually going to contribute to my most urgent need right now? Okay? Ask yourself that question, write down a few answers, and I promise you, if you get real with yourself, you do a little self-reflection, you write down those answers, and then you execute on them, because remember, there's always more good ideas than capacity to execute. So just that one good idea, if you execute on that, I promise you your business will move forward today. All right, that's all for now. I'll catch you guys later.